Well, Fanatical kind of proved me wrong. They do put their games on sale, and when they do, the discounts are good. They have Tales of games on PC that are actually on sale now. While I'm not seeing Zestiria or Berseria on the site at all right now, I do see sales for Vesperia and Symphonia that are at better prices than I usually see. Not by much, but they're still a good dollar cheaper than I usually see them. So let's get started with those Tales games on sale.
Tales of Symphonia on sale for $3.99. I lied, it's actually lukewarm.
So for those who watched my video the other day, no, I don't hate Symphonia. It's about number 4 on my top Tales of games I played so far, falling behind Vesperia, Berseria, and of Abyss. But it's an okay game that aged well for the couple of decades it's been out. Basically, you'll join Lloyd, an idealistic young swordsman, as he goes along with his friend Colette to try to regenerate the world of Silveroth and save it from the Defiants. Things get more complicated on the way when visitors from another world, Tethiala, try to interfere with their ritual. It seems if Silveroth is saved, their world will die. Overall, it's a pretty good story, and it's overall a decent RPG. It's a bit lacking when it comes to some of the battle features of later Tales of the games. You don't really have much room to free run, etc. But it's still a pretty fun game, and one I do recommend checking out. Definitely worth $4.
Tales of Vesperia on sale for $8.74. At least they haven't released this one to death yet.
Tales of Vesperia is probably the best Tales game in my opinion. Join Yuri, a cynical former knight, as he tries to save the slums he lives in when the water blast he has stolen. Other things happen, like meeting a very book-smart princess who has absolutely no street smarts, a young boy who wants to form a guild, a sassy young mage, and a perverted old mercenary round out the cast, and it makes this game a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite JRPGs, and it's on sale for less than $9. Pick it up.
14 Star Wars games for $19.99. Remember what Star Wars was before the dark times, before the Disney.
So I've only played half of the games available in this bundle, but that's enough for me to recommend them. You got 2 Knights of the Old Republics, but both are phenomenal RPGs. You got Republic Commando, which is a really great first-person shooter, well worth getting into. Battlefront 2, which is more of an online co-op type of first-person shooter, where Republic Commando is more tactical. You got The Force Unleashed, which is a really great action series, and you could do worse than Star Wars The Clone Wars.
I bet you it's a short list.
Yeah, you're right, but I have a feeling that the next Ubisoft-made Star Wars games is going to lengthen that list significantly more.
Batman Arkham Bundle for $7.19. Be the Batman.
So Fanatical has all 3 of the Rocksteady-made Batman Arkham games. I've only played 2 of them so far, Arkham Asylum and City, but those both are well worth $7 individually, in my opinion. To get all 3 of these classic Batman games is well worth it. They really do a good job of getting you into the atmosphere, getting you into being Batman, and the combat in these games are really good. Overall, I do recommend them.
Let's move on to good old games.
SNK 40th Anniversary. Get a bunch of B-rated classics for $5.99.
I found SNK games are on sale on GOG. The one I can absolutely recommend is the 40th Anniversary Collection. It's on sale for about $6. It has some gems like Psychic Warrior and POW, and some not-so-great classic games like Athena, but I do recommend this collection for $6. It's pretty rounded and gives you some history about one of the bigger arcade makers in Japan today, so I do recommend getting this collection.
Let's see what Steam is cooking up.
Mega Dimension Neptunia V2 $4.99. The one time where Neptunia was actually a good JRPG.
If the Dreamcast was a person, it would have issues. After all, it is a failed console. However, unlike other failed consoles, which may be collector's items but are never really talked about fondly because usually they were mistakes, the Dreamcast does have a lot of people who still sings its praises 25 years later. Neptunia weighs in on this failed console, as well as throws some shade at Capcom, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, and Metal Gear Solid, Konami, and even the AAA industry itself. The story is probably the second funniest of the Neptune series, but the satire really hits home the hardest in this one. This game is coming on about a decade old, and what it has to say about the Western AAA industry hits home even more now than it did back then. And the combat is actually pretty decent. Overlook the abundance of cringe fan service, and you got yourself actually a pretty decent JRPG here.
Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 3 on sale for $4.49. Don't make Pluty angry. No one likes Pluty when she's angry, except for those of us who find it hilarious. Don't make Pluty angry.
Although I do put Hyperdimensional Rebirth 3 as one of the weaker Neptunia games, it's one of those things, if you're only going to buy one, I recommend trying Rebirth 3. However, when it comes to comparing it in the whole list of Rebirth games, it's one of the weakest, mainly because there's no new dungeons, no new enemies. However, it is hilarious when it comes to its story. Basically, this one is here to lampoon the video game consoles of the 90s, as Neptune takes a trip back in time and meets basically the gods of the Genesis, and we still find out that Blonde, now in more of a Famicom dress, is still watching over the Nintendo fanboys, and we also get to see how people like Sony and how Microsoft enter the race and kind of get those things just lampooned. Overall, it's pretty funny. I do love the character of Pluty and her alter ego as Ironheart, which is basically the Incredible Hulk as a dominatrix. It's hilarious, and this game did make me laugh hard. It's why I do recommend it. Even if the gameplay isn't exactly what I would call stellar, it's functional, yes, but it's not exactly fun in that area. But I do recommend it for the story because I laughed hard. Well, anyways, folks, that's it for this week. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. I try to get these out at least once a week. I'm not 100% reliable, but I do try to get them out on the weekend, and I try to make it while the sales are as relevant as possible. So I would enjoy it if you subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye.
Tunnel's full. Start to scan.
Scan initializing.
You know what? I prefer the good old cavity search. Much more personal.
Got a red light. Multiple prohibited items.
I want Joker searched again.
It's not the patient. It's...
Ooh.